It's the Mike Francesa podcast on the Bet Rivers Network.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Mike Francesa podcast on the Bet Rivers Network, brought to you by Casamigos Tequila. Casamigos Tequila is brought to you by those who drink it. We reached the second to last weekend of the summer because, for all intents and purposes, the summer ends Labor Day night for just about everybody. All right, there's a couple of fleeting weeks there, but not really. The summer's really over, and so enjoy the last, couple of days, the fleeting days of summer, and before you know it, we are within 2 weeks from the NFL season. College football will start up a little bit, heat up a little bit again, right into the Labor Day weekend, and then before you know it, it's wall-to-wall football everywhere. Right now, we're still concentrating on baseball. We talked about this really crucial 10 games that the Mets would face. 3 against the Orioles. They won 2 out of 3. A pair of walk-off home run wins. Better bullpen performance. Went last night to San Diego to start the 7-game trip against 2 of the hottest teams in baseball in the Padres and the Diamondbacks. Won that game going away. So far, they're 3-1. On this very important 10-game stretch. They have gotten better bullpen. 8 in the wins. 8 bullpen innings. Only 2 runs, and the 2 runs came last night in the 9th inning, already up 8-1, so you can forgive them. So the bullpen has been better, and it has to be better for them to get to where they need to get to. You want to see this separate. You want it just to be the Mets and the Braves and nobody behind them. That's what you want to see happen here, and let that be what the test really is. Maybe San Diego or Arizona slides back to be vulnerable. We'll see. They're not at the moment. We'll see how things work out. The Mets can provide a lot of that themselves by playing very well over the next 6 games. We'll see how that unfolds. But 3-1 so far. Fairly good starting pitching. Some very good, some not. But the bullpen better. They need to have certain guys pick it up. They need to have Alvarez, who did hit the walk-off homer, but other than that, he's done very little. 2 for his last 19, 8 for his last 44, 33 strikeouts in his last 100 at-bats. A lot of Ks, a lot of breaking balls. Staying away, they're keeping the fastball away from him. He's got to make the adjustment. Lindor continues to be good. If you go over his last 15 games, 330, 381, 13 runs scored in his last 15 games. That's key. He continues to play well. He continues to get big hits. The other guy is Vientos. We've talked about Vientos. The second highest slugging percentage on the Mets is Lindor. It's .479. Then comes Alonso at .471. Vientos is slugging at a .557 clip. 80 games, 291 at-bats, 20 doubles, 20 homers, 54 RBIs in 80 games. He has fit very well into that 2-hole. He has been consistent. He hasn't been feast and famine. He's been consistent, and he's been consistently powerful. Extra base hits. 40 extra base hits in 291 at-bats. Impressive. .557 slugging. Impressive. So you like what Lindor is doing. You know you can get enough out of Alonso and Nimmo and JD. They need Alvarez to rejoin the consistent part of the lineup. And Vientos has been a revelation. He really has, as they start to go forward. For the Yankees, well, right now they get the advantage of playing the Rockies this weekend, coming off a win yesterday afternoon against Cleveland. Yanks always do well in afternoon games. For some reason, weekday afternoon games are something the Yankees just always seem to thrive in. But they get the Rockies right now while the Orioles get the Astros. Last night, that meant another game in the standings. Right now, they're 1.5 in front of the O's as the Birds have to play the Astros, who are right now playing really good baseball, and the Yankees get to play the Rockies, who on the road are dreadful. Judge is just on another tear. In the last week, 370, 6 homers, 11 RBIs. In his last 30 games, this is stunning. 14 homers, 33 runs batted in, 26 runs scored, and a .425 batting average over his last 30 games. It's insanity. The numbers are staggering. Soto's hit home runs. In his last 15 games, Soto's hit 8 home runs, but he's only hit 218. But he's hit a bunch of home runs, including, obviously, the 3-1 game. They still need better support. I mean, it was amazing that game broke open yesterday. Had it break open, it broke open on a Stanton ball that, let's be honest, when he hit it, you didn't think it had a chance to get out of the... He was off balance. He hit it off his front foot and got enough contact, made enough solid contact to take the ball over the center field fence. Didn't seem like that ball had a chance. It didn't even look like it was going to reach the track, and it just kept going, and boom, game was over. The Yankees have had to cash in on LeMahieu. The question now is, how long can they go with Verdugo? Now, Verdugo gives them a very good left field. We know that. But it's not just Dominguez. I can see them in big spots. Whether it's regular season, whether it's postseason. I can see them playing Judge in left and playing Grisham in center field. Grisham gives you very good defense in center field. He takes some of the pressure off Judge. And if you look at it overall, in his last 15 games, as an example, hit enough and gotten on base enough. I mean, his on-base percentage is .333, which compared to Verdugo is a lot. In his last week of games, he's got his on-base percentage is .353. For the month, his on-base percentage is .330. You know he can hit the ball out of the park. He's hit 7 home runs in 150 at-bats. Plays defense. Is he a great hitter? No. Does he walk? Yes. Can he get on base? Yes. Can he steal a base? Does he play good defense? Yes. You could use him and sit Verdugo. It makes some sense. And I think against a righty, I would bat him leadoff. Verdugo has just... Listen, I thought Verdugo was going to hit 35 doubles and 20 homers. He looked like that was going to be exactly what he was going to do. He's hit a bunch of doubles. He has hit 1 home run. 1 home run since June 6th. Since July 6th, rather. 1 home run. He's had 1 2 RBI game since July 6th. His numbers are pathetically bad. Do you know he has of an everyday player, he has the worst OPS in the last 2 months of any everyday regular in baseball. He's in the low 5s. Last night, another 0 for 4. For the season, He's got 10 home runs. Like I said, he's only had one in the last 2 months. He's got 27 doubles, but they have stopped coming. The RBIs have stopped coming. The on-base percentage is just going down. The batting average is just going down. 2 for his last 28. 10 for his last 60. One home run in the last 2 months. I think 7 RBIs in the last 2 months. He has been really bad. And you wonder, you really do, you wonder how long they will go with him. Does he play a good left field? Yes. Is he a threat to take the ball out of the ballpark? Yes. But all you're seeing him now is hit these pathetic ground balls. And he really needs to fight out of it. I don't know if he needs a couple of days off. I don't know what he needs. He's played every day. He really has. I mean, he's already been up almost 500 times. He's been a fixture, really been a fixture. He's played in 122 ball games this year. He's played every day. But his numbers have been staggeringly bad for the last couple of months. And you wonder just how long they're going to go with him. You really do wonder about it. Because sooner or later, you have to say, we have to get more. We have to get more. I mean, you worry about so many of the guys around the big two. And how do you put, you're going to go with Stanton. You know that because Stanton can wreck games, as you saw yesterday. Perfect example. Where he can just, flick the bat, hit a 3-run jack, and that's it. He can, it happens all the time. He's got that kind of game-wrecking power. And, he has in the past, he has hit in the postseason. You got to give him credit for that. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly how much patience the Yankees have with LeMahieu, how much patience they have with Verdugo. We know how they feel about Stanton. We know how they feel about Wells. They're going to ride Torres. We know that. I don't have a problem with that. I would not fool with Torres. You know what? Listen, I know Torres isn't going to be here next year, but there's no reason not to just let him do his thing. You're gonna give him the season, and just hope that he does what he can do. Has good at bats. Last 30 games he's hit 277. Last 15 games he's hit 267. His on-base percentage has been in the high 350s, almost 360. You like to see him slugging a little higher. But the numbers are not that bad. And he is capable of a big hit. So they're not going to fool with him. Just like they're not going to fool with Volpe, whose numbers, have not been good. Volpe hasn't done a good job, of late. He shows signs of coming out of it, and you say, oh, I can see Volpe coming out of it now. I can see that happening right now. Well, you know what? Then it doesn't happen. I mean, in his last 15 games, Volpe's hit 150. He's picked it up the last couple of days, but 150 over the last couple of weeks. And the last couple of months, you look at the numbers, they're not good. But Volpe, Torres, Stanton, Wells, that's not where you're going to make your changes. Your changes are going to come by putting LeMahieu on the bench. Change is going to come by putting Verdugo on the bench. Things can change. Especially if somebody jumps up and gets hot. So it bears some watching, and you wonder, the Yankees have had a lot of patience. They really have. They've had, the one thing, the Yankees show patience in their players. Maybe sometimes too much, but they show patience. As I said, we are now just a couple of days, really, away from the start of the NFL season, September 5th. You're into the week 3 games already right now. There's nothing to be excited about. Even Giants doesn't get you excited. Not like the old days. Because, it's just not the same. They just don't approach the preseason the same way anymore. We've been through that. It just doesn't. So you don't look to, really make statements or make really strong judgments off the preseason. I understand you're looking at rookie quarterbacks, you haven't seen them before, and then you say, oh, well, this guy did this guy won. And for the most part, you're seeing these guys starting. Are you surprised Nix is starting? I am not. I thought Nix fit Sean. I thought Nix fit what Sean likes in a quarterback. Plus, Nix is not young. He's not a baby. He's not a kid with very little experience. He's been around the block. I expected him to start. The other guys, they've been pretty good. You see Smiles, and you hear about Smiles in Chicago. You hear about Smiles in Washington. They like what they're seeing from the guys they went out and put their future in these guys' hands. They like what they've seen from Williams. They're glowing about Williams. They like what they've seen from Jaden Daniels. That they are very high on what they've seen from these guys. Less so some guys after that, but that's fine. But Nix, no. And that does, like I said, does not surprise me. I thought he could go to Denver, and I thought if he did, I thought he could definitely start. And I think the way he ran that Oregon offense showed that he was going to make a smooth transition. He isn't blessed with the best tools. He doesn't have some of the athleticism and some of the talents that some of these other guys have. But between the ears, he's quick. And between the ears, he's solid. He knows how to play the game in his head. And he's a cool customer in that regard. He will execute. He will do, and here's the thing. That's why a lot of people wondered about what would go on there, because Sean asks a lot of his quarterbacks. It's not an offense you're going to run without understanding some things. It can be demanding. And that's why I guess some people are surprised, but they shouldn't be. Because this guy, he's been around the block. And now he gets a chance. Now, how complete is that team? That's a different story. And you got some fascinating storylines as you get ready, as you always do. But, so much is being expected from, say, the Falcons. So, from Harbaugh in year one, because of what he did in San Francisco. That was a decade ago. He's been in the league for a decade. Do I think he makes a difference? I do. Do I think he's a good coach? I think he's a really good coach. Plus, I think he works well with the offense. He works well with the quarterback. You know, I watched him play the position both in college and in the pros. He was a good quarterback. He understood his job. He understood the position. He conveys that. You're going to see a different quarterback with the Chargers. And we all know how talented he is, and he is incredibly talented. And I think you're going to see a big improvement there. Now, does that mean they're going to challenge for that division? I don't think they're ready to challenge Kansas City. Kansas City, believe it or not, could actually be better this year. Because, remember, their offense did not click last year. They couldn't get the ball deep. They weren't explosive in their passing game. And they dropped more balls than any team I've ever seen. That's not going to happen now. And that makes them a different team. And they clearly have deep threats now, which they did not have last year. You know, they won a lot last year because their defense did a heck of a job. It really did. Their defense was cohesive, tough, deep, and led by a brilliant player in Chris Jones. So they could actually be better. But there's some buzz teams. We'll get into that. There are teams where the expectations have been ratcheted so high. And the teams where there's teams that are just going to sneak under the radar. Which of the new coaches is ready to make his presence felt? Do the Eagles bounce back? Remember how bad they were at the end of the year last year? How much of that has been patched up? You know, there was a lot to patch up there last year, both on the field and off. The problems ran deeper than people knew. That's another storyline that's going to be fascinating to watch. There are a lot of them, as there always is in every NFL season. We can't wait. I have to admit, I cannot wait for the start of the NFL season. And I'm very interested in the Jets. Very interested. And we will spend a bunch of time on them in the next couple of weeks as we get into it. Within a week, we will, make the big transition, and we will do plenty of it. Wall to wall. We're trying not to do a lot of NFL yet. It's coming, I promise. Now, before I bid you adieu, it has been an awful meet at Saratoga. They have had the worst weather luck that you could ever have. This meet has been decimated by rain. Now, the biggest day of the meet is tomorrow. And the meet really throttles down enormously after Sunday. If you've never gone to Saratoga and you always wanted to say, well, I'd like to go when it's not that crowded. Well, next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, those are your days. The place is empty. A lot of the people who have been there since the start of the meet are gone. A lot of people are coming back to the city to get ready for the fall, get ready for school, traveling, whatever. Those couple of days, next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, are great days to go up there if you've never gone up there, because the place is really quiet. You can move around. You can have access to everything. I would not suggest going there tomorrow. I really wouldn't. Unless you are around the place. Now, they have a terrific card tomorrow. And it looks like they're going to catch a break with the weather. It's sunny today. It's supposed to be sunny tomorrow. There's no rain in the forecast. They finally are going to get a break with the weather. Tomorrow is a terrific card. And we're going to run Reynolds Channel in the Allen Jerkins, which is a grade 1, a very, very big race for 3-year-olds, 7 furlongs. It's a sire-making race. It's a very important race. It's named after the chief, one of the great trainers in the history of the sport. Man, I had a relationship with. I used to love to talk to. It's funny when I talked to him. When I saw him, all he ever wanted to talk about was football. He was like, "I don't want to talk horses. I want to talk football." He loved to talk football, and I had a very good relationship with him. So to be a part of his race is an honor. You've heard me talk about Reynolds Channel a lot. He has a lot of talent. It has not come to the fore quickly. His last race, everything finally kind of fell into place, and he won an impressive maiden race in Saratoga. It took him a while to break his maiden, and he missed a lot of the races because of that. I think we also thought early on, and I think we were wrong, that he was going to be a horse that liked a lot of distance, and now we realize he's probably going to be a horse that wants to run 7 furlongs at a mile. He is in a race tomorrow that is as loaded with good horses as any stake race I have seen in years. Absolutely loaded. There are, and I am not exaggerating, there are 11 horses in the race. Every one of them is a good horse. It's a great group. And most of them are stake winners. Some of them are grade 1 winners. Our horse has not run anything but a maiden race so far. His last race was a maiden victory. It took him a while to break his maiden. We put blinkers on. He hated the blinkers. We put him in a long race. He didn't like that. He lost by a nose once. He lost by a head once. He had a couple of tough trips. He got beat a nose in Kentucky in a race that slowed us up. So tomorrow he goes into the big time, and he will be a big price. But I'm telling you, and I rarely would say this, he is worth a couple of bucks because I think he's going to run really well. Forget his odds. He's going to be 30-1. He should be 30-1. He should be 50-1 in that field because he hasn't accomplished what these other horses have accomplished yet. But you might not be saying that after this race because I think he's going to run really well. He's been training very well. He's already won over the trip. He's already won over the track. He's been training terrifically. He belongs with these horses. He's a very talented horse. He's just been a little late to the party. We lost our regular riders because they have commitments with other horses, which happens because, Baffert has a horse, Godolphin has a horse, Fletcher has a horse, Jay Brown has a horse. I mean, Cox has a horse. Everybody has a horse. So we'll ride Rosario tomorrow. He's a very good rider, and he fits the horse well. We'll come from off the pace. I think we'll run really well. Just a word to the wise because he's going to be a big price. Now to Travis tomorrow. Interesting race. Always the big race of the meet. You have tomorrow, really, it's a long day of racing. It starts early in the day. Okay, it starts. First race is 11:20. Last race is 6:48. The Jerkins goes off at 5:30. You have 5 grade 1s in a row tomorrow. You have the Sword Dancer, 1.5 miles on the turf. You have the Ballerina, 7 furlongs for fillies. You have the Forgo, which we ran in last year with High Oak. He finished third last year in it. High Oak's just about to come back in September. He had a little work done on his ankle. He's going to come back and run in the fall. He was third in the 4-go last year. 4-go is 7 furlongs, grade 1, and it's for older horses. The Jerkins is 7 furlongs for 3-year-olds, and it drew a distinguished field of 11. And then the Travers. Tomorrow in the Travers, you know some horses that you've known before. You also know a filly that has run very well, a very talented filly named Torpedo Anna. Torpedo Anna is going to run tomorrow. And she'll get a lot of support. She's going to try the boys. Sierra Leone, who's made every dance, is in the race. Unmatched Wisdom, Corporate Power, Batten Down, Anna Marie, who has been in trouble every single race, including the Classics, including the Jim Dandy, been in trouble every race. Gets Gaffleone tomorrow. I think she might be live at a big price also to get a big piece. Dornock, who has come to hand and won some big races here. And Fierceness, who big things were expected and then got some vindication in his last race at Saratoga for Rapoli. And, you know, if you know the sneaker brand Noble, and it's funny, I was wearing a pair of Noble up there, and Rapoli bought Noble, and now he has merged Noble with Tom Brady's TB12. So Brady's fitness company has merged with Rapoli's sneaker company. Rapoli bought the sneaker company, Noble, and check it out. I tell you, I love the shoe, and I wear it. He his box is about 4 boxes from mine at Saratoga. So, and I know Rapoli, you've heard him on the show with me. I go back a ways with Rapoli. So, I was wearing my Nobles one day, and he goes, "Oh, you wearing my sneaker?" And I said, "Yeah." So he gets his rep out, and he says, "Have him send you anything you want. Golf shoes, walking shoes, just slip-ons, whatever you want. We got all these different shoes." He sends me all these shoes. He sends Jack shoes and Harrison shoes and Emily shoes. So we've become a Noble family now all of a sudden. I haven't worn his golf shoes yet, but they look very good. And I've worn his sneakers and his walking shoes. And the greatest thing about them is it's like wearing slippers. They are so light. You know how you're like putting on a pair of sneakers now, and you want them to be comfortable, and you want them to be light and airy, and these things are great. So check it out. And now the second biggest player in Noble is Tom Brady, because he merged TB12 with Rapoli's Noble. And, you know, Rapoli sold vitamin water for billions, sold body armor for billions. This guy, everything he touches turns to gold. He goes into the horse business. He gets Uncle Mo as a stallion. He's become a sensational stallion. He's won a lot of big races. Everything he touches turns to gold. He's one of those businessmen that's just got the Midas touch. So I wouldn't count Noble out. And I tell you, I wear them and I thoroughly endorse them because they're comfortable as heck. I wear them all the time. I only wear white ones. I like the white ones. I've never liked different color sneakers. I like white sneakers. I always have. And they're so light and comfortable. It's unbelievable. It's like you're wearing slippers. And that's what everybody wants to walk around with now. You know, you ever see the kids now? What do they wear? They wear pajamas and those shoes with all the holes in them, or a pair of sneakers. I think the shoes with all the holes in them are called canes. But if you want a sneaker or an athletic shoe or a golf shoe, check out Noble. Very, very good product. I thoroughly endorse because I wear it. Hey, I had them before I even knew Rapoli had purchased the company. My kids told me. They said, you know, Rapoli bought the company. I'm like, really? I didn't even know that. So he says, I can't believe you wear my sneakers. I said, yeah, I've been wearing them for years. So check him out. No bull. And if you haven't had a chance to check out a racing card at Saratoga, tomorrow's a good day. Tomorrow's a good day. I think Baby Yoda's going to run real well in the Forgo. I wouldn't be surprised to see Anna Marie run well at a big price. She's been in so much trouble. She's a dead closer, which isn't great up there for those kind of races because the speed usually controls those races. The one thing about the sprint, though, is the Jerkins has so much speed in it that it might set up really well for some horses coming off the pace. And one of those will be Reynolds Channel. So tomorrow's a big day for him. Enjoy your weekend. You're second to last of a summer that is quickly, as they all do, getting ready to say goodbye. Fall and school, yes, right around the corner. We'll see you later.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Francesa podcast on the Bet Rivers Network.